Hi, welcome to another edition of Nerds and Nonsense. And today we're going to be covering non-spoiler alert Black Adam.
Oh, and then we're gonna do a spoiler part at the end too. So
At the end, spoilers. So
okay,
don't worry just yet.
yeah. So after the non-spoiler part, if you guys want to turn it off, then absolutely fine. I know the movie's been out for like 2 weeks, but hey, everyone watches at their own pace. Maybe you're on the edge about watching it,
Yeah,
and maybe you probably want to watch our review, of course, and then see if you want to watch it or not, and then yeah, make your own decision. So
yeah. It's
okay,
up
so
to you to decide.
yeah. So Kamar, what you think about it?
So I thought it was good. I thought anything you have the Rock in, I'll definitely go see. I think the key thing is it is still a DC movie. There's still some things I feel like DC's perfecting. But I got a kick out of the action. I got a kick out of The Rock's presence. I got a kick out of the special effects. It was overall pretty good. If I could give it a grade, I'd say it was a B plus.
B plus, okay. Yeah, I figured it'd be kind of like your typical DC origin movie, not a lot of people know about Black Adam and all
Yeah,
that kind of stuff.
I didn't.
So I didn't either, So, but you're gonna obviously, origin story, kind of where he came from, and I could see why, some critics or some people might be turned off on it because of, you know, it's kind of like just kind of generic kind of thing,
It's very generic.
very monotone. That's the word I'm looking for.
Right.
It's not gonna go out there and grab you, but it starts off kind of like with your typical origin story, superhero with powers comes out of nowhere, all of a sudden comes to modern day Earth and all that kind of
Right.
stuff, and then tries to fit in with the economy, seeing what's going on,
Right.
where is he, like what's their goal, all that kind of stuff.
Right.
In a way, it kind of reminds me of the Terminator 2 movie, So it's kind of
Yeah.
like you have the Terminator come up, and then they he shows up, doesn't really know what's going on, has a mission kind of, but
Right.
not exactly the same as Black Adam, but
Yeah, but it's like on like this like a random character from an alternate dimension that appears like
yeah.
in contemporary times, and it definitely has that feel, that sort of displaced feel. Um, I think one cool thing about it, like I think if we're gonna take a bunch of genres and mash them all together, you could say Black Adam was almost like taking like The Mummy or taking
hmm
Scorpion King, which is The Mummy still.
Ironically, with the Rock in
Ironically
it.
with The
Yeah,
Rock in
yeah.
it.
So
And then like taking like Terminator and even like Superman and smashing it all together and kind of getting a similar sort of result. And because since there are Shazam theme in it, it definitely has those elements. But I think it was kind of cool because it's like also a very different cultural approach. And then there's a lot of kind of mystique to in this story about who Black Adam is, and I think that's a lot of fun.
yeah, that's cool. It's good
Mm-hmm.
because it's not like your typical Batman or Superman movie. You kind of know the origin of it, So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I was kind of going there with no expectations really, just going to
Right.
go in there, and it kind of there's kind of like a good feeling kind of thing. Yeah, he gets into and adapts to a different kind of culture that he probably wasn't used to before.
Yeah.
Brings back memories. He's
Yeah.
looking out for actually cares about other people that are around him.
I
So
would almost say it's almost like a movie about getting an evil Thor on your side.
oh yeah, right. So I mean, yeah. So
Right?
um,
Yeah, it's kind of mythical and powerful, and like I think some of the issues, or like some of the qualities about Black Adam is he's an anti-hero in a way, like Deadpool, but just with a lot
mhm.
less humor.
Yeah, yeah. Like I said, like it's a little bit monotone in the beginning, but
Hmm.
I guess it's kind of what it is. I mean, it's like if you've been awakened after 1,000 years sleep, you're gonna go
Right.
wake up, not you're confused. You're not gonna be
Right.
the most upbeat person.
Right. And
So,
I
but
think that's probably just an issue of the character itself.
yeah, yeah.
If you
So
design a character like that, it might not be as compelling as watching, a quirky, I don't know, Suicide Squad or like a Peacemaker,
yeah.
movie or something like that.
Yeah, like it goes through the thing. It's like it
Mm.
I like it because it goes through it's an origin story, of course, but it focuses pretty much on his origin.
Mm.
There's other characters complementary to that go in there and support him, right? But
Mm.
it doesn't, what I like about it doesn't go too far away from his
Right.
origin, so it
Right.
focuses on him, which is good, right? So uh you know The action was pretty good, you know. All that stuff, all the characters were pretty good.
The pacing was nice.
Yeah. So I think what all the hate is like maybe just the acting of how
Yeah.
Dwayne the Rock Johnson portrayed
Yeah.
him, you know.
Well,
So
I'm not sure. I think people can be very hypercritical of anything DC, and then very hypercritical of anything The Rock. I think you have to respect the People's Rock, but
yeah,
nonetheless, though, I think one of the key things that came to mind when I was watching it was Wonder Woman. Because sometimes you have filler characters and like the random pedestrian or the
yeah,
random person in the city, and you just kind of wonder why did the writer like rely on that device.
yeah,
I think that would be the only thing I would criticize. I think The Rock's performance was amazing. I think The Rock was the perfect casting for it. I think the DC universe needs heavy hitter actors like The Rock.
yeah,
And I think they have some pretty good actors, but not actors that have a reputation and athleticism and showmanship like that guy.
yeah.
So anyone who criticizes Black Adam for The Rock, I think you're totally missing the point. I think like you eat cookies and cream because you really want to get the flavor of dairy cream and you don't understand what you're eating.
Like myself, I've never been like a big fan of just The Rock's
Oh yeah,
starring in the movie, but you
yeah.
know, I was gonna have expectations. Yeah, I enjoyed him being in this movie. It's kind of
Mhm.
like he's a tough guy, but also like sentimental as well, but not
Right,
showing it too much, you know. So
right,
you know, I think like I said, all the other characters that come in support them. Like they had to be in this movie. If they were not in
right,
this movie probably would have been
right.
not worse, but not as good.
It
You
would have
know?
been boring as
Yeah,
well.
yeah,
I
because
think the other characters made it pretty damn exciting.
yeah, I
Yeah,
think adding not having them in the movie, it just doesn't explain like try to explain a whole origin story for an
right,
hour and a half, and then 2 hours, and it's kind of
right.
boring. And so having them in the movie, when of course everyone's probably seen the trailers, but there
Mhm.
is Doctor Fate is in this movie,
Right.
Atom Smasher, Cyclone, who I'm not familiar with, and Hawkman.
And Hawkman.
So yeah, it's a nice introduction to
Yeah.
have them in the movie.
Actually, watching it made me feel like I was watching the Saturday morning cartoons of Justice League, like when I was a kid.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it kind of gave me that impression. I really
yeah,
liked it just for that.
yeah,
I kind of got it to forget myself and be a kid again in the theater, and just watch like something that was fun to watch
yeah.
and kind of innocent, without like excessive writing or anything like that. However, there still were some corny things that I'm a little too grown up for anymore, as far as like random citizen comes to save the day.
Yeah, so yeah, so they're in the movie. They compliment. They made the movie better. Of course, that if they
Mm.
weren't in there, of course, it wouldn't be as good.
Yeah,
So but
those are some cool characters too.
yeah, so
Characters I didn't know about because I'm a Marvel guy.
yeah,
So
yeah. It's nice to explore certain other characters that
mm,
aren't the main roster characters more. It expands
mm,
the universe, and that's what it's all about. They were
mm,
just focused on regular Justice League for such a long time,
right.
but adding these characters in is good too. But so overall, you said you gave it a B plus.
I'd say a B plus. It's a
Okay.
solid B plus. It's a movie I would watch. I could probably like put it on to not be bored. Not a whole lot to overanalyze.
Yeah.
It's like good fun to just smash popcorn in your face. And
Yeah.
it wasn't too long
It's like
like
a
some of the
typical
others.
origin story movie.
Mm,
They just came here. What's their goal, kind of thing. Find
right.
purpose, and then meet with
Explosions,
meet with some colleagues. There's going to be some killing, of course.
some killing.
PG, of course. And then of
Yeah.
course, at the end, oh, I think I know my purpose here. So
Right.
kind of like that. So
Right. I think the only thing was just I the explosions were cool, but the villain I when we were talking about doing the podcast, I'd already forgotten who the villain was.
pretty forgettable. I'm pretty sure 99% of the audience is not going to know who he
Yeah,
is.
and
So
that reminded me of Wonder Woman as well because Wonder Woman had some like really boring villain. I think they had the cheetah lady, but then
oh yeah.
she wasn't very villainous,
Yeah.
which wasn't really helpful.
CGI was awful in that one. I mean, but that's another can of worms.
That's another kind of worms.
But,
We'll review that one later.
yeah, I mean, or go over, I guess.
Yeah.
So, but I'm not gonna be as generous. I'm
Oh,
probably
yeah.
gonna give it a C plus.
Let's see. Plus.
It's not bad, but it's like it's you know what? I'll be okay. I'll give it a B
Okay.
minus. I'll be honest. I
Okay.
enjoyed it. So.
All right. I've seen some bad comic movies in my life.
Yeah, and then
so
yeah,
I
I've
know
seen
what
I've
it's
seen
not.
worse. So this wasn't as bad, and then
Yeah.
like
Man, 1990s Generation X on Fox. Oh,
yeah, so but
yeah.
Yeah, we suggest you check it out. Even if you're a fan or not, you know what? Don't listen to critics like that.
Mm.
Even if the movie was bad, we still go watch it,
Right.
and then we would give you an honest review on it too.
Right.
You know, so like be
Right.
your own critic on it. Don't just like, oh, a bunch of people watch it, and
Right.
then I'm not gonna go watch it. You
If
know?
you're so disturbed by how bad a movie is, I think you're also disturbed by not knowing how to be grateful for the fact that you have time to watch a movie. Because I
Yeah.
know
So
people outside our building in downtowns who they're camped out on tents. I don't know if they watch movies.
yeah.
So,
So
enjoy the privileges you
yeah.
got.
Yeah, just go watch a movie, eat some popcorn, go with some friends, and just have a good time, or have a bad time, I guess, with the movie.
Right?
So, but that's going to conclude the non-spoiler part. So let's get into the spoiler
The
part of the
spoiler
movie.
part.
So if you guys don't want to
Right.
watch anything with spoilers in it,
Time to
then
switch this off.
yeah, turn it off right now. So, of course, it starts off with I think was in Egypt, right? Was it?
Yeah, I think in Egypt.
Yeah.
It
So
starts out in Egypt, and these there's like they're the people who are the slaves of the Egyptians are being forced to find some sort of stone for the ruler, some sort of
okay,
material, right?
gotcha. Yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah, it goes into that kind of origin story, and then I guess the powers are supposed to go to his son, right?
Right.
And then it doesn't go to him, and his son actually dies, and it passes on to him,
right.
and then he gets sealed into some kind of tomb, so
Right.
he doesn't escape.
Right, and that was kind of the twist, because the twist is that first reading this Shazam story that we know from like the Shazam movie, and we think goes to the boy who's portrayed in the beginning, and then like it doesn't. We find out it went to the dad instead.
So it's kind of like the opposite. The powers for Shazam goes to the boy, and then this one goes to the dad instead of the boy. Gotcha.
Right, and the dad wants vengeance.
Okay, yeah, because
his son.
Yeah, his son was killed. I think his wife as well, right? And then like his
Right.
family enslaved. So
Right.
all of a sudden wants revenge for all that stuff. So.
Right.
Well, of course, we have some, tomb explorers or something. They go into
Yeah.
the tomb of where he's at. They know they're looking for a crown, right? Remember, it was a crown. They
It's
look
like
for
another version of Scorpion.
yeah. So they're looking for a crown, and then
Yeah.
like a mummy, the mummy. So they're looking for a crown, and then all of a sudden they come up on the tomb, and I think one of the female protagonists, I can find her name in there, but
she's like an archaeologist.
the archaeologist, and then she recites something from one of the books that says something, and then
Right, it's like the curse or the thing to keep him trapped in his
and
his
it breaks
forever slumber.
Yeah, and it breaks the seal,
Yeah.
and then he's released, and then all of a sudden all hell breaks loose because he didn't know where he's at, and then there's soldiers there, of course, because they were one of the archaeologists actually betrays her, and then wants to steal the crown for himself.
Right. And she finds out that he's like a descendant of the historic king who that tomb belonged to or something.
Right. Yeah, and then that enslaved Black Adam and his family. But he wasn't called Black Adam. He was called something. Tef Adam, right?
Tef Adam. Yeah, I think I saw that on social media recently.
Yeah, Tef Adam. So he's called Tef Adam. He actually
let's assume Tef means black in Egyptian.
Yeah. Okay. So put that together.
Assumption.
So
I'll Google it later.
Yeah. So and it goes from there. He's released, and all of a sudden, all these soldiers are there. They thought they were gonna get the jump on the girl and steal the crown. Right. He goes out and starts killing everybody.
Everybody.
PG, of course. Just starts zapping them, and then like
lots of good explosions.
And then he meets the archaeologist, and then her son was there too. And there's like, oh yeah, we can help you and all that stuff. He's confused and all that stuff like that. And then it goes into you see Amanda Waller, right?
Yeah.
And then she's
that's my highlight.
Yeah, and then it introduces there's a Justice Society of America. So like we mentioned earlier, it's comprised of Hawkman, Dr. Fate, Atom Smasher, and Cyclone. So that's cool. It's a nice introduction to have more heroes into the DCU.
Yeah.
And they've been formed, I guess, to stop natural kind of disasters or threats like this.
Right.
So they've been assigned to stop Black Adam. So they go, they try to stop him. Of course, to no avail. Because he's too strong. And then I actually liked the characters. I thought Pierce Brosnan was great as Dr. Fate.
Yeah, Dr. Fate was because I remember back when we were collecting comic books, you had Amalgam, and they combined like Doctor Strange and Dr. Fate to make Doctor Strange Fate. And I was never familiar with like Dr. Fate completely, but how they portrayed him, I was like, this guy might be a little bit cooler than Doctor Strange potentially.
Yeah. So
just like how the effects were, like his helmet, like I was like, this is a badass character.
Yeah. So then we get into Hawkman, and I think Hawkman was awesome. I thought the costume
was hardcore.
He was a badass. I like his costume. His weapons, like the way they portrayed him, CGI
Yeah.
wasn't bad at all.
It's funny characteristically though. He kind of reminded me of like a Cyclops in a way.
Yeah, kind of like a hard ass, kind of
Kind
like
of
you
like
know, it's
preppy,
like
hard
you know,
ass,
it's
a little
like
annoying.
yeah, it's like
Like,
you know, it's my way or highway. Like I'm just doing it my way. It's like I'm the
right,
leader. Like you do what I say, kind of thing. Yeah.
right.
So, but you kind of need those guys to put people in shape, you know.
Yeah,
And then you have Adam Smasher. He is the nephew of the original Adam Smasher. You see him like
right,
Henry Winkler is the original one.
right.
So you're passing it on to him.
Yeah,
His character is kind of more of like a PG Deadpool in a way. You look at it, you know,
yeah.
he
He's
was
kind of goofy and
goofy,
funny.
but you know, okay, you know, I guess it's
Yeah,
and
he
then
was, he was kind of a bit of the comic relief in the story
yeah,
because he'd get big and he wouldn't he like wind up naked after like changing his size or something.
yeah, I think
There's
so.
something awkward about
Yeah,
it. I
I
forget.
couldn't remember, but
Almost like the boys or
uh,
something. Yeah,
and then there was like a Cyclone. I've never heard of that character.
yeah.
Before.
That was a new one for me.
New one. It might be newer. I'm not sure, but you
Yeah,
know, if you guys know, let us
she was
know.
cute.
Yeah, of course she has wind manipulation powers and all that
Right.
kind of stuff. So
Colorful wind.
I'll be honest with you, if they didn't have Adam Smasher and Cyclone in the movie, it'd be okay with me. I mean, but because you know you want to introduce
Yeah.
more characters, but they were kind of just not really needed. You know, like
Yeah,
I mean, Doctor Fate and Hawkman were kicking ass. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like they were
Yeah.
doing fine.
that was
But
good action.
then of course you want to introduce more characters. You're gonna have them. You know, they can probably be more developed in there. You know, so
Yeah.
of course you're not gonna make solo movies for these characters. You know, so it's a good way to introduce them into the movie.
Yeah,
So the story goes on as Black Adam's trying to find his way, trying to find out what's going on, and you have
Right.
that descendant of the king. He's looking for the crown. He finds
Right.
out that the archaeologist son actually stored it. You know, so
because
he's
when she took the crown and she gave it to the son. Or
yes,
something,
and
right?
then he gets kidnapped, of course, and she
Right.
goes to him and says, "Please save my son." And all this
Right.
stuff. And then we get into the whole
So-
Terminator thing, saving John Connor, but he's saving the son.
Save
Yeah,
the son, and then they have like all this people power stuff that
Yeah,
unfolds, which
and
is
then,
wild, a little too much.
yeah. And then
Um,
it gets to a point where it says, "Oh, I have to save the boys." It
Right.
it goes to Justice Society. Says, "Hey, why don't we work together?" You know, so okay, okay, that's
right.
of course, he's like,
But they're lecturing on him on killing people because he's just killing people like throughout the entire thing.
yeah, it's like, oh, be discreet, like
And Doctor Fate's like, you can't go around killing people.
Yeah.
And then like
yeah,
it's
that
like,
whole logic.
yeah,
Like you can save the world and do your thing, but you don't have to kill people. It's like okay,
Right.
okay, no, we'll do it your way and all
And
that.
he likes killing people.
Yeah, so it goes into that, and then I guess the villain, he gets the crown and becomes some kind of
Like-
god with powers and kind of stuff
Yeah.
like that. But pretty unforgettable, right? It's kind of typical.
Yeah.
I get powers here. I'm a descendant. Like
Super lame.
super. And then this is how I get powers. They fight each other.
Yeah.
He's getting the best of the Justice Society, and then all of a sudden, Black Adam, has a flashback, gets all this thing, and
Because
then,
I think that is there something where he gives up his power at some point? Yeah, I think there's a thing where Black Adam
Yes.
gives up his power.
yes, I remember that.
Which is like not like it's like okay, whatever. It was kind of like it had this very kind of Spider-Man, black costume vibe to it. Like I quit being Spider-Man.
Mhm.
Like it was kind of, and then it takes someone saying his name or something
Yeah, so he had the flashback when it comes to his son. Remember, he passed
to
him the power.
invoke
Yeah,
the
he says,
the Shazam thing again,
yes,
right?
it's like take the powers back. You deserve them, and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
And then you see the villain. I don't even remember his name. I don't know if I mentioned or anything.
Yeah.
So that's how forgettable it was. And
I literally forgot.
it kind of
what
made the villain in Wonder Woman 1984 like more relevant. At least I know he's like the Wishmaster, but he was at least this one he fought. But like
DC villains.
yeah, so he's getting the better of the JSA, and all of a sudden Shazam says he's gonna depower himself and stop being a threat, and all of a sudden
Mm,
he has a flashback, all this kind of stuff with his family. He's like, you deserve the power against Shazam. Boom, he comes out,
right.
comes over there, defeats the villain.
Saves the day.
Yeah, saves the day, and then
Yeah.
that's pretty much it. And then
Right.
it goes to the end and says Amanda Waller comes like, oh, I'll be monitoring you, I'll be keeping track of you. He's
Right.
like and he says Ted Adam, that's kind of like an outdated name. Let's go with a newer name, and of course it's Black
Black
Adam.
Right.
And then the credits hit, all that kind of stuff.
Right.
Overall good movie, not too bad. Action was good. It's like you're not gonna really expect a lot of much out of these
Right.
ones. The bigger ones are meant for the bigger heroes and all
It's
that
like
kind
you
of stuff.
took your kids there. Your kids are they saw explosions. They're happy, and you're like, well, I got to see some explosions, so I'm happy. And then, credits.
Yeah, so there's only one end credit scene, and this guy's in the end credit scene right there. So of course,
So Superman, of course, and the crowd
most,
went wild, of
yeah,
course.
I think people were clapping more for the end credit scene than the actual movie. I mean,
Probably.
yeah, so
I think they were just waiting for that, really.
yeah, and then he
Yeah,
shows up and he says, "I'll be here to monitor you, watch it." Like, and that
right.
could probably lead to a potential brawl between the two. We don't know,
Yeah,
but from the looks of it, it looks like he's gonna be an anti-hero, probably be calling me, kind of like if you need me, kind of like Captain Marvel, that
yeah,
role, like call me if you need me, kind of thing.
right.
I'll be here to help you, whatever, yada yada yada.
Yeah,
The human life has shown me like sympathy for people, and I don't know if I can be a
right.
badass or a killer
He's
anymore.
gonna be a less funny Deadpool for
Yes,
him.
kind of more serious. Maybe he'll open up a little bit more. Maybe they'll let him involve his characters. Like after all this time, that he's developed more of a sense of humor and all
Right.
that kind of stuff. So
Right, because the kind of the shtick in the movie, because Black Adam's such a serious character, is that you have the banter between him and then like the young kid and his family, and the young kid's like, you need to have some sort of like tagline that you say when you're
yeah,
beating up villains. So there's some kind of funny moments where he's beating up the villains and then he goes and says his tagline, but the villain's already like dead and gone. Like
yeah,
the boy in the movie is like, well, you said it too late. You got to say it before
yeah.
you kill
So
him.
yeah,
So things like that were pretty cool.
I I think the line was, "Tell him that the man from Black came."
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah. Tell them the Men in Black, the Men in Black came for them or something.
yeah.
Some
The man in black,
the Man in Black.
Yeah,
There we
so
go.
came for them, and then like, and at the end, of course, he does it right, and then like he got
Right.
it. Like, okay, good, he got it.
Was the
So
villain. Like,
yeah, so not too bad. So
yeah.
we gave our a review with non spoilers, of course, but so probably gonna keep it the same, right? You're gonna
I
keep it
would say
to
B plus.
B plus.
It's a B plus. It's a better DC movie. Like
Yeah.
I still am recovering from the experience of your mom's name is Martha too.
Don't get me started on that one. I mean, it's like that one.
And then yeah,
Yeah, yeah. I'll keep mine to the B minus. So
yeah.
like, I'd say go out, enjoy it, just watch it. Like,
Mm,
movies are meant for enjoyment. You
right,
shouldn't just be like, that movie looks bad. Like if you're gonna go out and have a good time,
right.
uh, enjoy it with the people you watch it with.
Enjoy it with
That's
the
what I
people you
say.
watch
I say go out and watch a movie. If it's
Yeah.
bad, it's bad. You good. You can
Yeah.
talk bad about the movie afterward. If it's
Yeah.
good, you enjoyed it together, right?
Yeah, a
Just
bad movie is a good excuse to spend time with friends.
yeah. So it's like all it's gonna take is, well, of course, your money, right? But it's gonna take some of your time. Watch it
Right,
and just say, wow, that was a bad
right,
movie, or then
right,
or it was a good movie, right? So
right.
yeah, just be your own critic.
If you
Watch
really
it, enjoy
can't
it.
stand it, you go with your friends. You get like a really good beer, get some wine, get a
Yeah.
cocktail, because all the theaters are serving, and you chill with your buddies and have
Yeah.
a good time.
So
Or do it after.
uh, I mean, the critics might have killed it, but the fans came out and showed it
Yeah,
and watched it. So I think it's gonna lead to something better. So hopefully, with everything, the James Gunn taking over, it's going to lead to
yeah,
better things. So that's all we can hope for, right?
yeah. I
So
hope so, because it's like when I look at like and DC's gonna improve. I think was it which company had layoffs recently? I think did DC have layoffs?
I
No, it
think
was Cartoon Network.
so.
That's
Okay,
what it
yeah,
was. But the Cartoon Network's a part of AT&T, I think, part of DC, part of
yeah,
Times,
yeah.
Times
So
Warner, whatever. I think especially they're gonna get better. The TV series are better. Like Suicide Squad, not Suicide Squad, Doom Patrol,
mm,
hilarious,
yeah,
great series. Peacemaker, great series. I think in Peacemaker that was James Gunn, right?
yes,
So I think is the market shifts and changes and people move on, their contracts expire. I
yeah.
think we're gonna get some better
And
writing.
Henry Cavill, of course, is back as
Right.
Superman. And then I heard that Ben Affleck is signed for 3 more films for it.
Okay.
So like, yeah, they're gonna have pretty much your core cast coming back. It's just
Yeah.
I don't see why it's so difficult to transition from animated movie and TV
Right.
shows to movies. I don't know why.
Right.
It's like the
Yeah.
stories are there.
I think the other thing is that when you're working with Hollywood, you're also working with like production companies that have contracts or major actors who have their needs and their criteria. And then probably everything gets dictated by like who are the big shots that we have to do this business
Yeah,
with. And
so
like, if you're Ben Affleck, you're like, I need this many trailers and this many private assistants
yeah,
and this many things, and everything is probably driven by that. Whereas like maybe if we're looking at Marvel and you have like all these huge stars finally just get out the damn way, like
yeah,
now you have like a bit more of a cooperative sort of environment where not everyone's talking about what's this multi-million-dollar contract and you release my film this way, so I'm going to sue you. I think now that you probably have actors who don't have as much of a reputation, they get more flexibility on what they can
yeah.
write and what they
So
do. And DC's gonna go the same way.
I'm not gonna say I'm gonna be excited for the future, but I'm more
Yeah.
optimistic. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I think
So,
I'm
just
optimistic.
optimistic.
I
So
think I think some of the good things that we're seeing is that a lot of their alternative properties are doing really well.
yeah. So
Like as much as people hated Watchmen the series, I got a kick out of it,
yeah.
and like people really loved it. Like as far as it just being like a high quality production where the cast was satisfied with what they made,
Hmm.
uh, and it being like noteworthy and like just a good concept, it did really well. And then we saw that like Sandman came out, and that's had a lot of buzz around it,
Yeah.
like a ton of buzz. And then so much that they're also reviving Constantine and
Yes.
like all these
Mhm.
other properties that
Yeah,
we've
there's
now.
hope. There's hope. It's
Yeah.
just it just has to mesh well together. And then hiring
Right.
James Gunn was the right deal. It's like
Yeah.
you need like a Kevin Feige kind of guy.
Yeah,
It has to be on track.
yeah,
All directors and stuff like that. Like it's gonna have to mesh together. You know,
Right.
there's can't be so many different versions of everything. You know,
right,
what pretty much 3 Jokers, 2 Batmans. Like there's too many of
Right.
those. Put some more other
Right.
complementary characters in there. You know, we want to
Yeah.
expand it. You know, so we
Yeah.
don't need other versions. We need more characters and
Right.
better stories. You know,
And the
so.
thing is, like when you think about DC is powerful because it's kind of half done. So when you think about like a story like The Boys, which is a great series,
Mhm.
that's technically part of DC Comics
Yeah,
because that's Vertigo. Pretty
Hey.
sure that was another one that had a TV series
Multiverse, right?
run.
So, but wait and see.
So you had this big thing in the '90s comics called Elseworlds.
Mhm.
So you can pull in all these different little aspects, and if you have a good writer, then they're gonna have a field day with that.
Yeah,
So
right.
with Marvel, it's doing a good job, but I'm still kind of waiting on them to pull in Legion and some of these other
Yeah.
alternative things that they had because it's
Yeah.
you have a lot of good writing, a lot of good material.
Yeah.
But one cool thing I'm looking forward to, a little off topic, I guess, is Wonder Man. But I'll leave that alone for another day.
Yes, let's try not to mix and match too much.
I know.
Okay, just kidding. But
Back to DC Comics.
yeah. So, but that's
Black
probably
Adam.
that's probably gonna wrap up our review for Black Adam. Go watch it. Be your own critic, and like I
Yeah.
said, just watch it, enjoy it, have a good time. Try not to think too much about it because
Right.
it's just go out and enjoy it. And
It's a solid action movie.
yeah. So
It has The Rock.
yes.
An
So,
action movie and The Rock.
remember,
That's
there's
perfect.
worse DC movies out there, and this was not one of them.
Yeah,
So.
yeah. It definitely was. It definitely wasn't Scorpion King. I think this was his revision to like saying, okay, let's forget about that movie.
Yes. But, thanks for watching, guys. Remember
Thanks,
to
guys.
comment, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. And thanks for nerding out to our nonsense.
Thanks
And
for
we'll see you
nerding out.
guys in the next video. Okay.
All right.
Thanks.
Stay nerdy, folks.
All right. See you later.